Steeler Nation, we are back for another great week of loaded shows on the one and only The Sick Podcast Steeler Crazy. I am Jay York Football. Alongside of me, as always, Mic'd Up Sports One. And man, as you know, the Steelers are coming to Ireland. Man, we have a very, very great guest lined up. And man, just super excited today to have him on. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm thirsty for a pint. I'll tell you that much. And like you said, we have a really fun episode today because all of us are hopefully, going to get our passports, jump on a plane, and head to Ireland for the Steelers next season. So we get to preview it with somebody today who's been living it from there, at least in terms of early impressions. So we're excited. Jimmy, whenever you're ready, go ahead and fire it off.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Steelers Crazy.
Aaron Smith shields. Flacco, Polamalu takes it home. Super Bowl 43. Pittsburgh might be bound for that thanks to number 43.
The sickest Pittsburgh Steelers podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
All right, our guest today, not just self-proclaimed, but world-renowned, Ireland's #1 male influencer. You can find him on Insta at Jim Flano, and he's making everybody a Steelers fan in Ireland, that's for sure. It is our buddy, Jim Flanagan. Jim, what's up, man?
Thank you very much for having me on. Anyway, it's an absolute honor.
Yeah, we're excited to chat with you. You got the TJ Watt jersey going on. I mean, you're not messing around.
Oh, boys, this isn't my first rodeo, I tell you.
Hey, well, listen, we already hinted at it, and of course, most Steeler fans know, and a lot of people in Ireland, I'm sure, are aware of the news. But the first ever in-season game in Ireland, of course. When you found out the news, or anybody close to you, what were the vibes like? Tell me about that a little bit.
Well, obviously, we're probably most known for our Gaelic football, rugby, bit of soccer, although we're used to soccer at the moment. But for the NFL to come to Dublin, obviously we've been dealing with college football over the last, I think, 10 years maybe. But for an actual NFL in-season game, it kind of got heads turning from people going, oh my God, this is actually huge. And it is going to be the biggest sporting event ever on Irish soil, which is insane.
Wow, that is insane. And that's not something, to be honest with you, that I thought about. But and what an honor it is for the Steelers to be a part of that. You mentioned the college games. I remember last year, what was it? Was it Florida State, Georgia Tech open there? How has the love for football, American football, in Ireland grown over the past, handful of years?
Well, there's this street called Cable Street, right? And Hughes Street in Ireland, probably our main street in Dublin city centre. And it was my first time working. I worked for ESPN and College Game Day on that. So it was my first time kind of probably working inside the whole, College Game Day experience. And they go to me, I got the text, we're set up on Cable Street here. Come down, we'll get your badge and we'll get you set up. And I go, what building on Cable Street? Now, we've hosted games in Crow Park, 82,300 people is what it is. And I got the message to come down to Cable Street. For the life of me, we would never, ever shut down Cable Street. And it was the first time I've ever seen it shut down for any sort of game. And it was absolutely incredible. Like, it's something I've never seen before.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Mike was so excited, he just disappeared here.
I think so. That's what I was thinking. I wasn't sure if it was just my screen.
Yeah. But it's just amazing to see. So let's talk about it. You took this to the streets of Ireland to ask the locals about, their thoughts on the game. Just talk a little bit about that. I think Steeler Nation saw the video. That's how I discovered you. And it was just really cool to see that, and just kind of talk about that and how that came about and what was the reaction.
Well, the reaction was, first off, it was literally the day after. I think I was probably one of the first people in Ireland to figure out that this game was coming to Dublin. So you're back anyway. How's it going?
He got so excited. He just
excited.
He was booking his flight to Ireland. That's what was going on.
I turned into TJ Watt and I was busting through walls over here, and I lost my connection.
Regardless, anyway, just when I was doing the interviews, I think I was one of the first people in Ireland to figure out about the game coming to Dublin. And going off on the street and you're hearing people for the first time, and the genuine excitement in people's voice. Obviously, Pittsburgh Steelers having a huge kind of Irish roots. They're probably the only NFL team that have proper Irish roots. So the excitement is there. The excitement is real. And I wasn't sure if it would, to be honest with you, but mother of God, it is.
Why would you, obviously we know, the Rooneys and everything that they do, but what would you say there's more Steeler fans in Ireland than any other NFL team? I mean, I feel that that's kind of a given, but is there fans of other teams there, obviously, but predominantly all Steeler fans, I'm guessing?
Well, it's kind of one of those things where I think obviously there was huge marketing put into Steelers being pushed to Ireland. They are the Irish designated team alongside the Jets, I believe. I could be wrong. Don't hold me to that. But if you ask the majority of people who are they support in Ireland, I'd like to think that the majority of them are saying Pittsburgh Steelers just based on what work the NFL, UK, and Ireland have done. Obviously, that was only rebranded. It's rebranded to Ireland there over the last year. So really strong roots. I do genuinely mean that when I say that majority of people would be Steelers fans.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome to see. I definitely, that's a bucket list thing for me to visit Ireland. I know a few friends that went there and they just said it was just unbelievable. So before I throw it back over to Mike, just kind of talk about, what Steeler fans who are heading over there next season to watch the game. What could they expect? What are some things that they should do? What bars should they go to if they're not going to the game? Maybe going to celebrate?
Pubs, come on, pubs.
Pubs, sorry.
Well, so just firstly, I'll touch on the stadium. I'm not sure, do you know much about Croke Park, but the history of Croke Park is something that
not too
defines
much, yeah.
Ireland. Obviously, the British and whatnot came into, when was it, 1920, I think the British rolled into Croke Park. I could be completely wrong with dates, so don't quote me on this now, but rolled into Croke Park and shot a certain amount of Irish civilians in our home stadium. So the ground this stadium holds is unbelievable. Until 2007, you weren't allowed to play any foreign sports in the stadium other than Gaelic games. And as of last year, it was lifted again. And this is now going to be the first NFL game in the stadium since that 1997 game. And lads, when I tell you this stadium is something special, I've been lucky enough to do the voice in the stadium for some rugby games this year. But I just think that the NFL, they need you for
the Steeler game, the play-by-play for the Steeler game. We'll start the petition now on the Sick Podcast. You heard it here.
But it is something seriously special. Like the way that the atmosphere, basically it's three ends. You have one end down the back, two side ends, and then a standing end down one end. And just the way that the atmosphere captures is something like, look, celebrating a first down or something is going to be something special here now. So as for pubs, I'll keep it. I was trying to relate to you there. Pubs, probably controversial. Avoid Temple Bar. It's an absolute money racket. Nonetheless, though, you'll have unbelievable crack. What pub? I'll have to bring the two of you to the Celt. The Celt or the Boar's Head are two of the best pubs, do the best Guinness in Dublin. So I hope to see you there, the two of you. If I have to put you up in my own house, I will. But it's a special place.
Well, if you're offering the home, we'll book the flight. My passport's still good for another 8 years, so
be careful.
It is truly somewhere special. Like even with the college game last year, look, there's a lot of Americans in town, and you're kind of looking around and you're saying, oh my God, this is so much bigger than kind of anything we have here. Like the All Ireland is big here. That's our Gaelic games, but the college football was just unbelievable. And the fact that that's college and not even NFL is ridiculous.
It's going to be next level.
Jim, I'm curious, has there been speculation or chatter about who you guys would maybe want to play in terms of the Steelers coming over? Obviously there's some big games on the schedule this year for Pittsburgh, but have you guys kind of talked about it a little bit? Like, it'd be cool if they played this team.
I think I could be wrong here, but from my own kind of reach and talking to people, I think the Green Bay Packers are who most people are looking like that they want to play, and I think it's a realistic option for them to play. Obviously, there's been a few teams ruled out because they might have traveled last year or whatever in their away game. I don't particularly know how it works from that end, but in terms of teams that can actually play, I think Green Bay are the favorites and the team that I think most people want to see come as well.
Yeah, because they have a huge fan base as well. Similar to Pittsburgh, where
wouldn't you say, Mike, they're like the Steelers of the NFC? I would say they're similar.
the Cowboys, but Dallas is a huge market. Like Green Bay is similar to Pittsburgh, where it's a smaller market, but there's so many fans, not just in the States, but everywhere. So that would just be an ideal dream game for Ireland. I totally agree. You hit on it before, some of just the pregame stuff that I'm sure you guys have done for the college football games. What are some lead ups to the game? Like, do you guys have bands and music and parties, like festivities in the streets? Tell us about that.
Well, it's something new, and it's something I've only experienced with the American football coming to Dublin. Like, as for last year, I think you cut out when I said though, but Cable Street, a really famous street in Dublin, it would never be closed down for an Irish sporting event. And then last year for the college football, completely closed down for the college game day set. I honest to God couldn't believe it. It just obviously shows the power and probably money that the NFL has as well. But in terms of, we probably don't do it how ye do it in America, but in lead up to the game, I hope that there's nice Irish spin on it. I hope that there's trad music sessions, there's the bars are hopping, little things to just showcase how ye do it right, because tailgating as well is not a thing here, but it was brought to Dublin for the college game day. If that's brought here for the NFL, I think it'll be unbelievable.
Good chance, in my opinion. Good chance that you're going to have NFL Network, reporters, a whole set right there on Cable Street as well. So we can't wait to hear it and see it.
I can't wait to have you.
So give us your take on this Steeler team. Obviously, we don't even know who's going to be quarterback at this point. We have 2 free agents. Talk about who you'd like to see at quarterback and where the outlook is going into the 2025 season.
Lads, I'll be honest, if we start going in depth on players now, I like supporting the team. I like seeing you throw footballs. When it comes to players, that's where we might lose me, because I was looking at rosters there. On a GA team, you maybe have 32 players. There's more than people I know the names of on the NFL teams. It's ridiculous. So look, I'd love to dive into proper.
Needs a long-term contract, right? You can tell us.
Of course, I have his jersey. Of course, he's probably my favorite now by administration. But
perfect.
Fair enough.
Well, listen, man, this has been so much fun. You're an ambassador for this whole thing. No question about it. We're going to have a lot of Steelers fans in the States watching this who will follow you, hopefully, and, be waiting to shake your hand at a pub or on Cable Street whenever the time and the opportunity comes. So we really hope that, Steelers fans show respect and you get to, digest a little bit what Pittsburgh's all about.
Yeah. Well, I say this to anyone, if there's any Americans listening and need a man to talk to and need someone to say, well, what do I do in Dublin? I hope that I can be there to share a pint with you and show you that Dublin's a nice place, and really, it is truly a great place to come to watch a game. So I seriously cannot wait to have you. I do love Americans as well. So
great. And tell everyone what you got going on. I know you're involved in a lot of things. I seen you were on the soccer field or training or something earlier. I seen on your Instagram. Just talk about, kind of what you got going on and everything that you do, like personally.
Well, there's Ireland AM, our national broadcaster, and they named me as the #1 Irish influencer, which is an absolute joke. It's hilarious. I promise you, I'm definitely not. But I've ran with that over the last few years. I'm doing it for 5 years.
You're too humble.
Oh, look, promise you, I'm a shite talker probably now, in fairness. But I've just been doing kind of influencing TikTok and content creation. I'm working for Leinster Rugby. I do the voice in the stadiums for most games. I promise you, man, I'm doing a million different things, but mainly sports-based through soccer, rugby, and Gaelic football would be my main brands. Obviously, over the last year of stretching to American football. Was that my plan? Not particularly. Nonetheless, I'm absolutely loving it. So, yeah.
Hey, well, we're happy to have you a part of Steeler Nation. We really appreciate your time. And I'm going to go look at flights and start booking this. So now that you opened up your house, I'll bring my sleeping bag and some icy lights maybe.
Lads, and I hope to see you here.
Thank you, Jim. Great time.
Lads, thanks for having me.
Have a good one, man. Keep in touch.
Absolutely.
Have a good one.
Hey, man, now that we have a place to stay, like you said, bring a sleeping bag. Let's, maybe he'll make us some home cooking, sleep on the floor, catch the Steelers, have some Guinness, have some chips, and have one of the best times possibly could watching football. So it was a really cool episode to hear from the perspective of somebody in Ireland, how excited everybody is about the NFL and football's growth in Ireland, and the fact that the Steelers could play the Packers in one of the most exciting games.
Would be amazing.
That would be huge. It'd just be huge.
Yeah, and I think that it was only – I know that they did tested this, but I think this is something that's going to continue with the NFL. I mean, we know the NFL, like we cover the Steelers 365 days out of the year, and just to reach an international, brand like that, and the Steelers are all over. Like, we know we've done this podcast. We had, announcers on from Mexico, UK, you name it. The Steeler Nation just stretches so far. So just really, really exciting stuff. It was great to have Jim on, and just to get, I could see the excitement and hear the excitement in his voice. And that just, I'm like, I know we're just getting ready for the combine and the draft, and man, it's just exciting because the NFL really does never sleep. There's just so much storyline, and it's exciting. Even though it was a disappointing end of the season, this is kind of like a little bit of optimism to get it going in the right direction again. So I'm excited, and it's such a great guest, and love everything that he's doing.
Shout out to Sick Team. Sammy and Yellow are at the combine right now in Indianapolis, getting us some great interviews, great quotes. So make sure you follow us at SickPod Steelers, and both Jordan and I, of course, on Twitter/X, because you're going to be getting a lot of great content from them. As it's a huge week for the Steelers, obviously everybody else, but the
Steelers is
a huge week.
Hey, well, we appreciate everyone hanging out. As I stated, I think Omar Khan came out today and said, there's a lot of fake news going around about the Steelers quarterback situation. You have 2 free agents. I know you want to go with Fields. I'm not against bringing Russ back. At this point, I just want a guy, or if they're going to go free agent or make a trade, I just think it needs to get done, because that's who you build your whole team around. I don't want a big question mark there. The sooner the better, I think, for the Steelers. So excited to see where this goes. And I think that, that they really know at this point that they got to pull the trigger and do something, because it's been going on for a decade now. We need to kind of like turn over and change our ways. So let's hope that this is the season that it will happen.
Yeah. Threw out a mock roster today offensively on Twitter, and I said, if you bring some weapons in here, surround Justin Fields with more than just George Pickens, get him a rookie running back like Travion Henderson, sign a really good receiver in free agency like a Godwin or a Kirk, or trade for Deebo Samuel. And, let's ride with some actual weapons offensively, see what Arthur Smith can do with a stable of talent, because he definitely didn't have that last year, and neither did Fields. So, but like you said, I think the Steelers and Omar Khan, the one thing they did give clarity on is that they want to make a decision by, free agency opening. And so they said around by March 12th, they want to have something in place, ideally. So this is a couple weeks away. It's not going to drag on for much longer, and we'll definitely have lots to talk about whenever that happens.
Yeah. Thank you guys for hanging out. We'll see you later this week, Jim, over in Ireland. Can't wait. We're getting ready now. So the Sick Podcast, Steeler Crazy, we're bringing the best in the game from all angles. So stay with us, subscribe, tell your aunt, your grandmother, your uncle, your uncle's uncle, and we'll see you guys soon. Jimmy, take it away.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Steelers Crazy on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.